Hey guys, welcome back to the very first NRL Fantasy Fanatics video for 2024. Going through our team and just everything why we chose our players here. To start us off, we'll go through my first pick, which was Harry Grant at hooker. And the reason I've gone through Harry Grant is just because I'm of the tactic that you start with a gun hooker. You just get a hooker that you can sit there for the whole year. I believe Harry has been the best hooker in the league for many years, and I am expecting a bounce back to 60 plus scoring. The thing that stands out for me is with Cameron Munster, Harry averages 59, and without Cameron, he averages 56.5. It's only 2.5 points, but I do expect that Munster to have a bounce back year and be fully fit and ready to go, which means that I think Harry Grant will have a bounce back year and average anywhere from 59 up to 62. I think he's got a lot of value there. What are your thoughts on Harry?
Um, I've never been a fan of starting with a gun hooker because I started with Harry Grant last year and he flopped. He didn't have his best year. But like you said, he may have a bounce back year, which will be great for him. But I prefer to stack up my mids and edges and then keep the hooker like mid tier. But so everyone can do what they want, really.
Yeah. So going into your team here, you got your first pick as Jeremy Marshall King. What's the reasoning behind that?
I've got JMK because it's subject to change, obviously, but I feel he's pretty good value for his price, 590K. And he puts in a great shifts every week, and with some big departures for the Dolphins, I think he'll have to lead from the front, and his workload and output will be increased. So I like Jeremy Marshall King. I've always liked him, so I reckon he's a decent pick for that price.
Yeah, it's not bad. I think there's some hookers better like a Moser and that, but I mean you're a mid-range hooker. That's a good way to go. Uh at mid I've got Terrell May. Yeah, he came out of nowhere last year, and I believe he'll get 60 plus minutes as a starter. Which means he's a no-brainer with his offload and PPM. I'm all in for May. Going to average anywhere from 60 to 65 if you can get those 60 minutes. I think it's pretty simple. Terrell
Yeah,
May's pick.
yeah, pretty simple there.
Are you on the same boat for Terrell?
Um, yeah, Terrell. Even if he doesn't start, like we saw at the Roosters, he doesn't start. He'll come off the bench, get 50 minutes, and pump out 60 points. Like he's an absolute freak. But I do think at the Tigers he will start, and his endurance and stamina is crazy. Like he could easily play 65 minutes. So if he starts, even if he doesn't, he's almost a must-have, I think.
Yeah, especially at that price, you're getting them at such a discount there.
Yeah.
I've gone Isaiah Yo over Nathan Cleary. The reason I've gone for Isaiah Yo is
And
he's again a no-brainer, just Mr. Consistency. Everything he touches turns to gold. In my opinion, he has a higher floor, a higher ceiling and a lower floor than Payne Haas because this longer, along with not getting injured and playing on a weakened Panthers team, which I think he's going to have to play 80 every game now, losing Luai and Taruva and that. I think that he's going to look really, really good this year, and I'm predicting anywhere for a bounce back, an average about 60 for Isaiah. How do
couldn't
you
agree more.
rank it?
I've also gone Yo. For me it was either Haas or Yo, but I've gone Yo just because he's so much more consistent. He will pump out that 60 to 65 points every week purely off base stats. And he may not have as much upside as Haas, but he won't have those like significantly lower games you may see from Haas. And he's less injury prone, so he'll just stay there for the whole season. You can captain him every week, really, if you need, if you don't
Yeah,
have
just one
Cleary.
that you hold for the whole entire season. My next pick is I think really interesting here of Corey the horse. For me, Corey is my first pot on my team. I believe Corey can definitely average 55 if he is able to get a starting spot and get the minutes. He's done it before. The only problem for Corey, I would say, is Vicky Stewart. Who knows? Josh Papali'i getting
Yeah,
old, which means Corey could get more minutes.
bit
And
of a loose cannon.
I'm all in for a Corey bounce back year this year. I think I got a feeling that Corey at 550K is a very good discount, and yeah, I'm all in for it.
Yeah, I've gone Ruben Cotter, and for the reason I have is because I'm obviously a Cowboys fan, but I think the Cowboys are going to have a big year. And Ruben Cotter being one of our leaders, seeing Val Holmes, Kyle Felt, and Chad Townsend leave, that's a lot of experienced players. So I think he'll have to step up and lead the pack, which means he'll have increased work rates and more output. So I'd say he's going to have a great year.
Oh, yeah, I do think that Cotter will do well. I think from what we saw, what's his face, Tamalolo played really well for Tonga, which could mean that Tamalolo's back too. Who knows? I feel like
Oh, man, imagine that.
we always try to say Tamalolo's back and he never does it.
Vintage Tamalolo this year would be a sight.
Yeah,
It'd be
so on my
great.
left edge, I have Isaiah Papali'i. With a lean year last year, you could say, while at the Tigers, I think he showed that he can still average 45 on the wooden spoon team. We saw IPAPs absolutely destroyed on the Eels, averaged about 60, and he's now playing on the
Mm.
four-time defending premiers and the best halfback the game has ever seen. I'm predicting Isaiah Papali'i for anywhere from 55 plus points, a couple tries there, good base stats, and I think Papali'i will play 80. Are you all in for Papali'i, or do you think Olakau'atu's a better option?
Well, I hadn't really thought about Papali'i, but now that you've said that, I'm thinking more about him. So I've gone Oluwatu because I think he's underpriced, but not as underpriced as Papali'i could be. But for how good he is, I think Oluwatu can be an 800k plus player. And if you looked at our ladder prediction video, I think the Eagles are going to do very well this year. And if the Eagles have a great year, it means Hamole will have a great year. So it's just up to that, really. But
Yeah,
look,
Hamole can
you're
stay
paying an
fit.
extra 20, yeah, you're paying an extra 50k for Hamole, but I think it's almost worth it because Isaiah is at a new club, in his third new club in 4 years. So I think maybe let Isaiah settle in, but it's just up to the user, really.
Yeah, I just think Isaiah's gonna get up to 800k and an absolute no-brainer there. So we've both gone Jack House on our edge position. For me, Jack had a breakout year last year. With a full preseason under his belt and the return of Cameron Munster, he should have another massive year where his scoring could go to another level. And there's nothing to say that he couldn't get that edge spot next year. Well, this year, who
Mm.
was their edges? It was Katoa and Blore, but is Blore still there?
I haven't heard much of Boar, to
Yeah,
be
Blore's
honest.
still there, but haven't heard
Oh,
much
he's still
about him.
there.
If Jack does get that edge spot, I think he's a no-brainer. But even at centre, he's got a
Even
lot of potential.
even at the center spot, like he's got center edge duel for 450k in a starting Storm team, which are going to contend for premiership. Like
Yeah,
you can't go wrong.
I think, yeah, he's just a no-brainer in my opinion. The only
Yeah,
problem with
they've
me
both got the
going
same
Grant,
halves as well.
Howarth, and Munster is they have a buy in round two, which leaves me pretty short for
Yeah,
round
so no
two.
problem. Yeah, but as long as you have coverage, then you'll be okay for that, and then
Yeah.
you can just hold them for yonks.
So, what's your opinion on Jack?
I love him. Well, obviously a bit of bias because he's a BBC boy, but I think he could earn a lot of cash, even if he plays edge would be preferred, but even if he plays center, like 450k in a Storm team, he's just going to get fed pills, defensive work, attacking work. I could see him being a 650k player by the end of the season, even more, 700 maybe. I think Jack is red hot, so I'd jump right on him.
Yeah, I think Jack really does. Will have a good year this year, and I'm calling bounce back or not bounce back, but Jack to get up to 550k this year. But on to probably my favourite player in the whole entire league, uh, Nathan Cleary. I got one sentence to say. It's Nathan Cleary. It's a no-brainer.
Yeah,
I think I don't have to even talk
almost
about
the
him.
same.
What he's done,
880k is crazy as well. He's
what
an
he's
easily
done
1 mil plus player.
for the last couple of years. I think he got the shoulder surgery. He's had the full preseason off. I think he knows that he really has to step up now. If no Luai gone and Fisher Harris gone, I think that Nathan average at 75 plus by the end of the season.
Mm. It's like even if he's had the preseason off mostly, you don't forget how to play footy in a preseason. Like a player like that will still score 60 points if he hasn't played for a while. He is just so good. He's the best half I've ever seen.
I think he'll go
He's a
down as the best
must.
half of all
He's
time.
just a must.
But
Yeah, easy.
going on to Cam Munster. So I think Cam at his price is he's an absolute fantasy gun. We know what he's done. He showed last year with playing on one leg and being able to average 45 is still ridiculous. with Cameron having a surgery done, I expect a massive bounce back and his price to skyrocket somewhere to 750 to 800. We know Cam can be a little bit inconsistent, go 30s and hundreds, but I mean, an average of 60 for Cam, you take that. And I think I'm going to go all over Cam this year. Are you on the
Yeah,
Cam train or not?
I've got the same as you. I've got Cleary and Munster. So I I think Munster at 589k, a fully fit Cameron Munster is scary. I think potential buy of the year at that price. Like he is an absolute machine at his best, and we just need to see his best. But he's a must-have at 589k. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, I think we've seen really like what he can do. Like he's been 800Ks before, and people picked him up at 800K. Why are you not picking him up at 589K?
Yeah,
But
exactly.
again, both on the Jack Bird train. For me, if Jack Bird is tipped to get the 13th spot for the Tigers, which when Jack plays edge,
I think
well,
he is.
yeah, when Jack plays edge or 13, he can average 45 points to give him about 300K of value there. The only problem for Jack is his knack of getting injured. If Jack can stay out there for 10 rounds, I
Mm,
think he's an absolute must have in a centers that you can just plug in there all year and then trade up to a gun by round 10.
yeah, I can. New team, new Jack. I reckon. If he starts 13 or 12, like we think he should or will, he could potentially be cheaper player of the year. Tackling machine at that price, he just got to stay fit. But he can easily make 100, 150k for you, and then you can get a mid tier center. So
Yeah, I
hopefully
think
lock him
that's
in.
really good. We've both gone with a kind of pod-ish centre here, and I'll talk you through my first one. So Zach Labour, we all know Zach is one very talented player. He averaged 36.1 points per game while playing a centre last year. We saw Zach, I think he averaged about 0.8 tries a game. Zach has looked, Zach looks like he can take his game to the next level and be one of the best centers in the game, which I think he could have a lot of value with him and could really be the centre keeper that we need. But do you think there's any risk in me going Zach at all, being a Cowboys fan and probably watching him really closely?
Um, Look, 431k. Zach Labour, he's a good player, but he hasn't reached anywhere near his potential yet. 430k, I feel like you could just maybe downgrade a center, maybe stick Rob Toyer in there and just play around with money elsewhere. But he is an interesting option. He could do well. It's hit or miss, I'd say.
Well, competing with me, I've also got him competing with Jackson Purdue for the centre spot, who they're both in
Mm,
my team. But I have heard rumours that one of them, I think Purdue, could play at 5'8", which I think if Jackson Purdue at 250K was to play at 5'8", he is a must-have in that centre spot because he'll have the duel, and then Labour will just be straight out of my team.
yeah, yeah.
Yes, oh, I
I've
thought
um
very Billy Smith here.
I've got Billy Smith in my center spot just because so many centers have left the Roosters. Suaalii, Jennings, and Manu have all left the Roosters, so I feel like that spot is very much up for grabs for Billy. And coming off a big knee injury, missing, I think, the whole of 2024, he'll have a hell of a point to prove. And I think it's his spot to grab. And if he stays fit, he'll be a very popular player. So that's why I've got on him early.
Yeah, he's a very good player. Like we saw what he did a couple of years ago. He absolutely killed it.
Yeah, he's a
So I've
big
gone with a
unit. Like
massive pod
he's
here. Latrell Mitchell, 800K blows the bank. We all know what Latrell can do when he's fit. You know, spending another off season in America and the return of Bennett, who Latrell absolutely loves. Not to mention the Bunnies being a top five side this year. I reckon we'll see a nice increase in kicking bonus for Latrell, along with Latrell looking very skinny this year. I got a feeling this will be Latrell Mitchell's bounce back year.
you
And
see that photo of him next to Wayne? He looked fit as. He
yeah, I
looked
saw that. I
great.
reckon he could average 60 points and just the consistency for
Yeah.
Latrell. Do you think it's too much of a risk to take with Latrell from what we've seen, or is he finally
No,
getting it?
I don't. You pay for the price. Like you know what's coming with a fit Latrell, and 800k is justified. You know what's coming. You're gonna pay for the price, and you're gonna watch him score 60. I'd say
Would you go for a Ponga or an Edwards over Latrell?
maybe an Edwards as he's a little cheaper this year, but Probably not a Ponga. I'm not too fond or keen on the Knights just because I feel they're a one-man team. They're just Ponga or nothing really. So if Ponga doesn't do well, the Knights don't do well, and that's why I don't like them.
Yeah, that's fair enough. So you see, I think Gutherson in that spot's a very interesting option. We know what he's been able to
Yeah,
do with the Eels, but why have you leant towards Clint Gutherson?
because I wanted a pod, and I love Gutho, the Gutho Arena. New team, new Clint. I've said that a few times, but I seriously believe Gutherson missing most of last year with an injury. The Dragons, they've signed him to be a leader, and a leader he's gonna be a leader. Leading from a front in the Broncos. Did you see clips of those training videos the Dragons released where Gutherson was leading from the front, like an old fella,
Yeah, he
like
won the
showing the
fitness
young
test.
fellas how to do it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
he won the fitness test.
like all the running tasks at the Dragons camp, he is leading from the front. I feel 600K is a great deal. Like I'm keen on Gutherson. It'll be a pod. Just if you can slot him in as a pod, it's a good way to start the year.
Yeah, I just don't think you can do Gutherson because like he's been in an Eel side, has done great, and he's had to score 3 tries to get up to 70 points for me personally. But I got my other wing fullback as Blaze Talangi. Blaze is one had a very good year last year. When he got the chance, he looks like he'll partner Nathan Cleary in the halves. I think this will see Blazers the attacking stats improve, obviously, as every 5'8" that comes to Panthers score as well. And we all know what Luai can do with his running game, where there is an argument that Blaze Talangi's running game is just as good as Luai's, which could see Blaze get up to 650K and a lot of value there. You don't have Blaze Talangi in your side. What's the reason behind that?
I don't. Um, Look, he was pretty good at the Eels, but he's most likely going to be better at the Panthers, to be honest. But it's just not how my team is set up, really. I've gone Paps. I've just upgraded a little over him, and maybe downgraded the bench a little. But I love Paps. Um, I think he's an absolute steal at 530K. We just have to pray he stays fit. Which look, Pappenhausen staying fit's probably not going to happen, but if he can stay fit for 20 games, no, not 20, maybe even 15 games, the bloke, he'll be 650, 700K. He's so quick. Absolute steal.
Pappenhausen, yeah, he's a very good player, and we know what he can do. Just yeah, again, fitness is all that matters about him. So Isaiah Longy, he averages 43 in his one game at fullback with like him likely to replace Gufferson at fullback and a small price tag on him. He could be unreal, couldn't he? But if that
Yeah,
spine
it
can
could
stay
be.
fully fit with Moses, Brown, and Longy, we know what Longy can do. I think that his
Yeah.
ceiling could be
If
unmatched.
he
Is he from
if he
Penrith?
gets that,
Did he play that one game at Penrith?
he does ring a bell.
Yeah, I feel
But
like he played that one game at Penrith, which coming from a Penrith thing too, I think he could be massive because that's just like coming from the Penrith system and that.
yeah. If he does get the fullback spot, he's a shoo-in. Like just get him in your team. You just have to wait though for to for like rumors to start or confirmation. But if he's in the team as a fullback, just get him in.
Yeah, I think so. So yeah, you've gone with Isaiah, but we think we already covered him. So quickly talk us, or not quickly, but just talk us through your 8 cash cows here and your bench.
I'll start with Josh Schuster because I think he's going to have a great year. Dual position, he was he was a bit of an NRL stud back in 2021. He was great, but he's had a few injuries and have kept him out. New teams are under Wayne Bennett. Wayne Bennett brings the best out of everyone. Um, he has the talent and the job security to be a serious cheapie this year, and I think 400K he should make slow cash. So that's why I've gone with him. Bunny's breakout year as well this year.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if he gets the spot. Who's he really competing with? You and Aiken, Jai Arrow. If he gets the spot, he could do all right, but yeah, who knows with Josh.
Mm.
Um, talk us through these two, Jesse and the Raiders center. Never heard of it.
Who's that? Sorry.
Jesse McLean and the
What'd you say?
Raiders center S. Tumley. I never heard of him.
Oh yeah, Jesse McLean. Um, with Taruva off to the Tigers, McLean could snag that wing spot, and he is a very attacking wing spot. I mean, he is a very attacking player in the Penrith team who are bringing out the best in everyone. But he may, his own brother might steal the spot from him, which might obviously make him not an option. But if he can get the spot, 250K starting winger on Penrith is a great option. That's what
Yeah,
I
we
feel.
know what he's done, and that dual position really helps.
It does. Center wing
Um,
fullback is a great duel to have.
yeah. So what have you heard about this Tamalay guy? I've never heard of him at all. Will he even get who's
I've
leading
done a bit
leading the Raiders
of
for him to
research
get
on
the
him.
spot?
Yeah, I've done a bit of research on him, and he was great in the lower grades for a few seasons, and he's getting a fresh start at the Raiders. Um, he's a meter eater. He just runs the ball like anything. Who There was a game in the New South Wales Cup last year against the Dragons, and he had 8 tackle busts as a center. Like that, those are crazy numbers. I just got to pray that he has a spot, but he may need an injury for round one, but it's too far away to tell. But if he gets the spot, he is an absolute machine. I dug into him a little bit. He's a machine. So we're just gonna see how he goes.
Yeah, I think he'll do very good. And then if he does get this, I've never heard of him though. Like who? So who would he
Yeah.
get the spot over at in the centers over at the Raiders?
Um. I think he has to pray for an injury, to be honest. Like maybe
Yeah,
an injury to Tim McCaw or one of the other centers. But look, it's a wait and see type of thing. But look, my team's subject to change, so it's the first week of fantasy. We'll see how we go.
yeah. So we've got the same next five. So I'll talk us through our three different plays here with me having Taj and on. I don't think he's going to get the spot, but I know Taj personally. BBC old boy, first 11 cricket captain. I'd love to see Taj get it, but yeah, I think Taj would just be one of those guys that you have in your emergencies because you know him personally, but I probably won't start with him. He don't get the spot because I don't really see where he can get it from. But I've gone with Hunt, Bruce Hunt, and Blake Moser, which is two that you don't have. Um,
Yeah,
I think Royce has close to no like floor whatsoever. I think Royce will get 40 minutes, he'll average 40. He's a PPM beast. He is
yeah,
massive, Royce Hunt. And
yeah. We showed up the Sharkies last year that he can actually run over and score like pretty often. Like he does it a lot. He just needs a good half or hooker to set him up, and then he just runs over.
yeah, he's an absolute gun. I think if he gets the 40 minutes and that starting spot over David Clemmer, he's close to a must-have and will make you so much money. He runs the ball
Yeah, he
hard.
will.
Have you seen how big the guy is? He's bigger than
Oh,
playing half.
he's a tank. Like he's untacklable. You need
Yeah,
four
so I
men to
think
tackle him.
he'll be someone then. Yeah, Blake Moser or Peter Mamazoulis. It'll be. I think Peter will get the spot, so I think Blake will make way out of my team. I only see Blake playing probably 45 minutes, which I don't think is enough for Blake to make steady cash, and he's probably just there as a place filler right now. But if he is the lone hooker on the bench, I will on the like there's no hooker on the bench. I'll definitely look at Blake, but I think I'll lean toward Peter Mamazoulis as he should look to be able to play 60 minutes, and we all know Peter can score 40 points in 60 minutes with no Damien Cook. Is there any interest in you at all for Blake Moser, considering you've gone Peter Mamazoulis over him too?
I had Blake Moser yesterday. I just got rid of him and replaced him with Mamazulis. I just think because Damien Cook has left the club, that's a big deal. And Mamazulis was actually playing last year, averaging about 35, 40 minutes. So I think with Cook leaving the club, he could get upwards of 55 to 70 even at his max, which it may be a slow burn for Mamazulis, but I do think he'll make upwards 100K cash. So that's why I've picked him, because
Yeah,
just job security and
I think
minutes.
he's got more than 100k cash. To be honest, like he's he's a very good player here.
Mm.
But so you got Robert Toya. I think if he gets a spot, he's again a no-brainer. Do you think Robert will get the spot, or do you think they'll lean towards Mark Nowakowski or whatever.
Yeah, whatever, however you say it. Um, Look, I'm hoping Rob Toy gets the spot. He was back end of last year in reserve grade. He was really good. I think he scored about 6 to 8 tries in the last 9 games or something. No, no, sorry, 4 tries from 6 appearances in the back end of the season. And yeah, I think hopefully he gets a spot over Mark, but he might not. But we'll see.
Yeah, I think you have to spot over Mark again, and I nudge you, boy. I reckon I'll be going all over him. And then the last two players in my team, we've already spoken about Purdue, but Sandon Smith and Dimitric Dimitric. Uh Sandon Smith, we've seen what he can do. I think he gets a 5'8" spot where he can make money and probably crank out a 400, 450K. He could even get a 7 spot if they want to move Chad to 5'8", where Sandon probably scores even better. But I think he just one that you hold until what to say, Sam Walker comes back and see if he can get that 5'8" spot over Chad. And you're the one that spoke me into Dimitrik. What's the thinking behind Dimitrik?
Um, Hang on, let me just get my notes up here. He on the edge spot with a retiring Tohu Harris, there's a big spot to fill, and there is Dylan Walker and Aaron Clark that probably take his spot. But he's probably one of those players you can just stick on your emergencies and just he'll play eventually, and he can make you cash. But I think he will play plenty of NRL in 2025, maybe even coming off the bench getting 30, 40 minutes. But he is a beast. Like look at the bloke. He's a massive fella. But the Warriors have also nominated him as their most promising rookie, which is if you're getting that said about you, then you're gonna get time on the pitch. So I do think he's a good option.
Yeah, I mean, he looks like he had a pretty good PPM from last year. Played a couple games.
Mm.
I don't really know much about him. Is there
Yeah, we'll
any
just have to
players?
wait and see.
Is there any players that you got that
What's
got
that,
close
sorry?
to making your team, but just couldn't make it with Price and that?
Um, I've only changed my team 1 or 2 times, but I'm trying to think now. Probably not. Maybe even an Aaron Clark. I don't think I could afford him, but I would like him.
Yeah, I
Um,
was looking at maybe not starting with Grant, putting Aaron at the hooker because he's got the dual
yeah,
position and should get the 13 role, and then after
yeah,
that just upgrading elsewhere because you see my bench is probably a little bit too thin, so then I could maybe move the Moser up if I do end up doing that. It'd be
yeah,
between Aaron or Dylan Walker. I don't think you can go with both.
yeah, exactly.
One that I was interested in for a little bit there was that 700K Tino Fasul Malawi. We all know what Tino can do. He's been up to 800K, but the thing that just was too risky for me is it's first game back in footy in about a year. I would say he played 2 matches last year, so like 11 months. And
What?
Tino's a very good player, but do you think he really gets the minutes? Like they got such a good pack, the Titans. Do they really need to play
Yeah,
60 minutes for him?
my problem is with Tino. How is he averaged 38 last year and he's at 700K? Like I still feel he's too expensive.
Well, I
By
think that
round one, like
that 38, let's have a look at this. That 38, I believe, came with a, let me find it. Sorry.
yeah, I still think he's too expensive. Like by round one, maybe wait a week or two and
But
see how he goes. But
he had to only the 35 minutes against the Bulldogs, which is why his average was so far down at 38. Because he
oh
did have
yeah,
49 and 58 against the Dragons.
yeah, gotcha.
So I think he's like
Well,
I think he'll do a job, but the round one bye, he just poses a good looper.
yeah,
Is there
yeah, not for
any
me.
interest in
Too
any other
expensive
players,
to have
top tier
work in.
players?
Um, I've had a bit of interest in Fanua Blake, but once again, a little expensive. Um, maybe even maybe Damien Cook, but you just get Grant at that price. Yeah, not too many more, really.
Yeah, I don't think so.
We'll have to wait and see.
Maybe a little bit in Damien Cook. You could go for a Tedesco if you wanted a massive pod. Um,
Yeah, I was
Jaden
looking at
Campbell could
Jessica.
have a very good year, but I think he's just too overpriced for someone that misses so many
Joey
tackles.
Tarpany. Love Joey Tarpany.
Yeah, very good player, Joey there. Ewan Aiken, no Senegal this year. No, thank you.
Yeah,
Mitch
unfortunately.
Moses could be a very interesting one. I have heard people say that they will go anti-pod Cleary with Mitch Moses, which I think is just stupid. Like, I
Silly.
think you need Cleary
That's
in the
silly.
spot. And I think the halves
Yeah,
pretty much selects itself. Cleary and Munster. Like, I don't know who else you're going with at all.
yeah.
Um, so if you had to choose between Dylan Walker, and Aaron Clark, I think only one of them would get the 13 spot because one could one get the at 10 spot? Who's their other prop?
Mitch
Who's your
Barnett.
Harrison? Who
I
played
think, or
10 for
does he
them
play
last year?
11? Oh, I actually don't remember. It's been a
No idea,
while.
but I don't think Aaron Clark will play hooker. So if Aaron Clark gets the spot at 13 over Dylan Walker, I think it would be interesting to have him at the hooker with the duel. But I just think another 80K more for Dylan Walker, you can't really go near.
Yeah, I'd say Dylan Walker is an avoid as of now, but like it's so far away from like NRL that you just can't tell. Like you just got to
Yeah,
wait a bit.
you got to wait for the
So
trials and
these
then
teams aren't final at
for the
all.
team list to come out. Like they're all just options right now. There'll
Yeah,
be many there. Like
the
I reckon,
trials will tell us a lot, so we just got to wait for that.
yeah, like you just
Yeah,
opened a thing just then. It said, Michael Maguire admits he's undecided on the Broncos hooker situation. So like there's a lot of competition there,
could
which
be
means
Walters then.
Moser could not even get close. But if you were to get a Corey
Yeah,
Pakes in that position, are you looking at Corey Pakes?
no, I'm avoiding. I've always avoided Broncos hookers. Like they never get minutes. Like there's not a hooker that's set in stone for the Broncos. There's like two or three that could play. So I've just avoided them completely normally.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
There hasn't been many really good Broncos hooker. And to be fair, Payne Hunt, I'm not Payne Hunt, Ben Hunt could come into the hooker position after round 10. So
yeah, easily.
yeah,
There's just
but
too many people there.
I think that pretty much sums it up. Pretty happy with how my team's looking. Knowing me, I'll change it about 7,000 times before the
Yeah,
next video we film. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with what it's doing. Thanks for
yeah.
watching,
If
everyone.
you have any questions, just DM us on Instagram and we'll get back to you. So
Yeah, and
these are our teams at the moment. But
yep, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.
see you fellas.